Hello guys. So today at Studios Lounge Live we have the honor of having an award-winning director, Martin Gigi, and actor, comedian, and three-time Emmy Award winner, Jeremy Piven. So you're both here to present your movie at the Ferrara Film Festival, Sweetwater, that talks about the first Afro-American man that signed up with the NBA. So I was just wondering,
By the way, that was a great introduction.
Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic introduction. That was a great introduction.
Thank you
No,
so
that was
much.
Fantastic. We should bring you everywhere.
Okay.
On this
I will
project.
come everywhere you want. So I was wondering what inspired you to do this movie?
It's about 28 years ago. I came in contact with this story. I was visiting the Basketball Hall of Fame, which is in Springfield, Massachusetts. And I saw these wonderful posters of great African-American players who had played in the history of basketball. And I wondered who was the first, who was the Jackie Robinson of basketball. And I asked that question, and there was not a lot of information about it. This is back in when there was no Google yet. And so this was in April of 1995. And started my research, and little by little over the years found the story that's in the film.
And no one knew about it, like no one talked about it before, right?
No, it's very interesting. Even people that play in the NBA, professional athletes, had no idea about this story. And so that's one of the many reasons why we thought it was really important to tell this story about how it actually went down. And I had the honor of playing Joe Lapchick, who was the coach of the New York Knicks in 1950. Martine hired me even though I am probably a foot shorter than the actual character, because he was very, very tall.
He was very tall?
Yeah, he was incredibly tall. But you know, I think tall. Yeah. I identify as a very, I identify as an elite athlete. My pronouns are Braun and James.
And do you play
These
basketball?
are jokes that are not going to land here in Ferrara. But here, I'm testing very well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so do you play basketball in real life? Do you
know,
like basketball?
I'll be totally honest with you. I grew up in a very integrated culture on the north side of Chicago. And so I was really the only white boy on my football team. And, the reality is, to get on the court, you have to earn it. So there were a lot of players that were much better than me. Okay. And, it's very important in this life, I think, to know your limitations. Okay. And I saw very early that there were a lot of gentlemen that were going to dunk on me, and it would be very awkward. So I stayed in my lane. I stuck with acting and football. And, they don't have any 5'9" Jewish linebackers in the NFL. So acting is something I'm still doing.
And how did you prepare for this role?
Well,
what was your morning routine?
Well,
Jack would dunk on you.
Yeah.
He agreed to help you out.
We had so many brilliant. We had players that played with the Harlem Globetrotters. Everett Osborne is a professional basketball player, and this is his first movie, and he was so incredible and as good as he was still, I think, has this incredible quality, which is complete confidence and yet willing to learn at any moment. So he was a dream to work with. Also, and I don't want to speak for you, but Martine can speak to this, but as a director, when you have a day, when you have to get so many basketball sequences in and acting sequences, we have a guy that doesn't miss. So you don't have to use a double or change the camera angles. He's just throwing it in, and Martine has to line up the shot, and everybody wins. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
And tell us about some. I have a microphone. So tell us about some memorable moment that happened on set, some funny thing that happened.
Well, one of the things Jeremy just pointed out, which
Yeah.
was, it was when Everett Osborne, who plays Sweetwater, he wouldn't miss. He couldn't miss any shots. And, you know, the Globetrotters were known for this type of level of athleticism. I would have to say that every, you know, for me, every shot of this movie was memorable because it had taken so long to make this film. And every day was a blessing. Every day we worked together as a family. We called it the Sweetwater family. And the creativity was boundless. We were always open to all possibilities, even though we followed a script, which was our Bible, which was our blueprint. We were still always open to all possibilities. And that created some very memorable moments, some comedic moments. There were moments when Jeremy brought some creativity with, you know, there was a specific scene with Kevin Pollak. I remember when you guys shot where you came up with this great line called Lapstick, where we would just roll. Sometimes we wouldn't rehearse. And that created a lot of memorable moments.
Wow.
Bobby Portis Jr. From the Milwaukee Bucks had a cameo. That was a memorable day.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have to say, you know, every day with Richard Dreyfuss is memorable.
Well, I mean, we have these legends like Richard Dreyfuss, who, you know, I mean, we all grew up watching Jaws, and there he is in real life doing his thing, and you know, this is a great performance by him, and yeah, every day I really, it was hard to leave this set. This set did feel like summer camp to me.
Summer camp.
Yeah, it felt incredible. It was very joyous.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, Martin, how did you get started in this industry? I'm really curious about that.
Well, I will tell you where film, because it's appropriate to the geography of where we're sitting.
Okay.
I will tell you where film came into my life for the first time. My father was an orchestra conductor, and we were living in, we're from Argentina. I was born in Buenos Aires, but my parents moved to the United States, and we were living in New York City. And every so often when my parents had, they were able to leave the house, they would take me with them as a kid. I was, at the time, maybe 3 or 4 years old, and they would take me to the movies. If they had a date, my parents took me to the movies. And the first film that I sat in as a 4 or 5-year-old in the theater was Federico Fellini's Amarcord.
Okay,
And,
wow.
you know, I remember the beginning, but after that I fell asleep. Now that's not a reflection of how brilliant the film is, because I did watch it later in my teens and appreciated it. But I was exposed to film at a very early age. My father had an 8mm camera and a Super 8 camera, and I was always filming. And eventually I got a little editing. So by the time I was 14 or 15, I had already shot. You know,
Oh, really?
I was the nuisance of
So
the
young.
I was the nuisance of the neighborhood. That's how I got my start in film.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And I wanted to know, because I read that both of your parents are actors.
Yes.
So did you get started because of them, or was it for some other reason?
I got started because of them when I was 8 years old. They put me up on stage.
Okay.
They were doing some Anton Chekhov plays that they loved to do. And in this particular play, they were doing The Three Sisters. And they threw me up on stage, myself and John Cusack, and we were both 8 years old. And we would alternate from night to night, because we were so young, we weren't allowed to do every performance. And so I was butchering great works of art from a very, very early age. Somewhere Anton Chekhov was rolling in his grave as I was just obliterating his beautiful poetry. So I, you know, at first I was introduced to the stage at a very young age, and had so much fun doing it. My parents never did it as a means to an end with me. They didn't want me to become a professional actor, so there was no pressure, which I think is a really great way to learn anything.
Exactly.
Because you're up there having fun, and part of their teachings were about every time you're on stage, you're in a state of play, and you're totally present, and you're doing something called theater games, and I could basically turn this into the longest TED Talk you've ever heard in your life, by the way. This could be 4 hours. I could have all of Italy just in an uproar coming to kill me, to make me stop talking.
No, No, please keep going.
Wait, let me cut to the chase. No. I'm gonna fast forward to I'm 21 years old, and my teacher was the great Tim Robbins, who we know as a brilliant actor, and he taught me commedia dell'arte, which is the oldest form of acting. And so I was always in a mask playing Harlequino or the Capitan or whatever, and that really kind of unlocked me and my own creativity. That I really took to that, and then ended up playing Ari Gold, and I played Ari in full commedia. That's all that was commedia dell'arte. He was just in heightened states of emotion. And if I were to even attempt to have this conversation in the United States, they would punch me in the face. 1000%.
Do you feel any difference before and after winning a Golden Globe?
That's a good question. You know, it's funny because I was lucky enough to win a bunch of Emmys, and I was always there with my mom, and it was so validating because she was my teacher and an amazing person. And when I won the Golden Globe, I was on set, and back then the writers were on strike like they are now.
Okay.
And exactly, it is a good sign for us. It's our good luck charm. And I remember hearing that when they weren't going to televise the Golden Globes, I knew I'm going to win. Because knew that I was going to win and no one would know. And I would be handed my Golden Globe in my driveway, which I was, and I made a speech to no one.
No.
Yeah, 1000%. 1000%. And, you know, it's all good. It's all part of it. It was a great lesson. It's like, you know, I know it usually is a very public award, but in this particular case, it was just me in my driveway, alone. It's very sad.
It's very But at least you won a Golden Globe,
There you
right?
go. Absolutely.
And another thing that I wanted to ask you, my last question is, Italy is very famous for food. Which is your favorite Italian dish so far?
You know, I got to tell you, I just had the most incredible experience. I have been traveling. You know, it's not easy. No, listen, we're very grateful to be able to be here at this incredible festival. You jump on a plane, you get off, you don't know where you are, and I just grabbed a loaf of bread, some cheese, and some ham, and just ate it walking on the street, and it was incredible. Unbelievable. And it's a testament to this culture and their soil and their love. It was like, this is one of the best meals I've ever had. And it was just like a loaf of bread. And I was just, you know, just walking around like a homeless person, but it was amazing. It was incredible.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this.
For me, chicken parmesan with, but here's the trick. I always order it. It has to be no sauce. I know it sounds crazy, but that's chicken parmesan, no sauce, with pasta and burro. Only burro. I love burro. Burro makes life better, especially if it's Italian burro. Which is interesting because in Argentina, which is where I'm from, burro, the word burro means dumbass. So, but don't take that personally.
That's
no.
true.
So it's easy for me to say burro, you know, and because I really love burro. So that means I love everyone.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank
wait
you
a minute. Let's ready.
Sorry.
Here we go. And okay, action.
Oh my God. Hi, my name is Giulia Charlotte De Rossi. I'm
Perfecto. And cut. Brilliant.
Thank you so much, guys.
Never cut an actor off when they're in the middle of it. So
I'm very sad.
The floor is yours. You sign off. I think, listen, you're an actress. This is your first time doing it, and I think you did a great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.